The story begins with Ling, a 32-year-old woman, spending a slow, lazy afternoon in her home. She lounges around, eating snacks and watching TV. When the remote slips out of her reach, she lazily uses her big toe to switch the channel instead of getting up. She adjusts her blanket and settles in for a nap. Ling has been out of work for over a decade, and her life consists mostly of staying at home. Her mother, Mrs. Xiao, however, is growing increasingly frustrated. She secretly installs a CCTV camera to keep tabs on Ling's habits, constantly pushing her daughter to find a job and be more active. Ling ignores these pleas, preferring her carefree lifestyle. At one point, Ling feels a pang of hunger and walks into the living room to ask her mother what's for dinner. Shortly after, her cousin Du, who works as an intern at a local TV station, stops by. She tells Mrs. Xiao about an opportunity for a reality show featuring individuals with laid-back, lazy lifestyles, exactly what Ling embodies. Seeing a chance for Ling to do something productive, Mrs. Xiao enthusiastically agrees to the idea, hoping it could even bring in some income for their modest family grocery business. Ling, not particularly excited but feeling pressured, agrees to participate. However, during an interview with her mother, Ling's sister Lan makes a few light-hearted jabs about Ling's laziness and her reliance on their parents. Hurt by the teasing, Ling becomes upset and decides she doesn't want to be part of the show anymore. She storms off, leaving the situation unresolved. Feeling utterly frustrated with her family, Ling seeks refuge in the company of her two closest friends, her boyfriend, Sean, and her best friend Lily. They meet up for lunch, and as they eat, Ling vents about everything that has been bothering her. Hoping for some understanding and support, she pours her heart out. But the conversation takes an unexpected turn. Sean, out of nowhere, announces that he wants to break up with her. Shocked, Ling presses him, asking why, and he admits that he's found someone else. Angry and confused, Ling demands to know who the other woman is, but Sean stays silent, refusing to give her a name. Not willing to let it go, Ling grabs his phone, determined to find answers. Her heart sinks when she discovers the unthinkable. Sean has been cheating on her with none other than Lily. It turns out that the two of them had been secretly having an affair, and now, Lily is pregnant. Sean reveals that he plans to marry her. Devastated and feeling utterly betrayed, Ling cannot hold back her fury. She breaks up with Sean on the spot, storming out of the restaurant. To her disbelief, they even ask her to be a bridesmaid in an attempt to make Lily look less like the homewrecker she truly is. The weight of the betrayal hits Ling hard. She feels humiliated and abandoned by the people she trusted most. But instead of letting her emotions consume her, she turns to food for comfort. She buys cotton candy, kebabs, rolled eggs, and anything else she can find to try to fill the emptiness. Walking home with an ice cream cone in hand, she passes by a gym where someone is training in boxing. Watching the intense workout sparks something inside her. For the first time in a while, Ling feels a flicker of determination. Boxing, she thinks to herself, might be something worth trying someday. The morning after, Ling wakes up late just as she always does, drifting through another lazy day. But things take an unexpected turn when her sister Ludan, a widow, visits with Ling's favorite chicken wings. This sudden act of kindness immediately raises suspicions. Both Ling and Mrs. Xiao know that Ludan must want something. Sure enough, Ludan demands her share of Ling's inheritance, claiming she deserves it more. Ludan argues that she's contributed more to the family, having worked hard and supported them, while Ling, who's never had a job or helped at home, has lived off their parents. To make matters worse, she points out that Ling is well over 30 and still hasn't managed to get married. Her harsh words sting, especially when Mrs. Xiao sides with Ludan, further fueling Ling's anger and frustration. Feeling completely betrayed by her family, Ling decides it's time to leave. She packs her things, and although Mrs. Xiao seems worried, there's also a sense of relief, as she hopes this will finally push Ling to become independent. She gives her some money to get by in her first few months, but Ling feels both sad and empowered as she steps out. Determined to make it on her own, Ling lands a job as a waitress at a restaurant. The pay is low, but at least she gets free meals every day. On her first day, Ling's boss asks her to get his cigarettes from his car. While looking for them, a man suddenly appears, urinating in the corner. Startled, Ling accidentally honks the horn and flashes the car's headlights, catching the man's attention. He scolds her angrily, but Ling quickly apologizes, explaining it was an accident. Understanding the mix-up, the man leaves, but not before accidentally leaving his boxing gloves behind. The next day, Ling decides to return the gloves, which have the name Hao Cohen written on them. She finds him at a nearby gym and hands them back. There, a staff member named Lu Wei offers her a discount on a gym membership for the first month. Ling hesitates but declines, feeling too insecure to join. On her walk home, Ling feels an unexpected attraction to Hao Cohen, who works as a personal trainer. Curious, she searches for him online and stumbles upon his profile. In a nervous attempt to connect, she accidentally taps on his picture multiple times. To her surprise, he notices her interest and responds by inviting her on a date to the park. Overjoyed, Ling becomes motivated and excited, bringing a new energy to her work. Her co-worker quickly notices her upbeat mood and teases her about being in love. When she reveals that it's Hao Cohen, her co-worker warns her to be cautious, suspecting he may only be interested in her for personal gain. The day of the date arrives, and Ling anxiously waits at the park. Hao Cohen shows up wearing a pink shirt and shorts, making a striking impression. However, Ling's excitement soon turns to disappointment as she realizes that Hao Cohen's real intention was to persuade her to join the gym as a member, which was part of his job. Heartbroken, Ling feels as though everyone around her has ulterior motives, and that no one truly cares about her. Hao Cohen, however, opens up to Ling about his dream of becoming a professional boxer and the dedication it takes to achieve it. Though initially hurt, Ling decides to join the gym, motivated by her growing feelings for him. She begins boxing training with Hao Cohen as her coach, facing the physical challenges with determination. Although she struggles with the intense workouts, she pushes through, encouraged by Hao Cohen's guidance. Meanwhile, Lu Wei, who harbors feelings for Hao Cohen, secretly slips a note and a plaster into his boxing gloves. When Ling finds the note, she misinterprets it as a message meant for her, leading her to believe that Hao Cohen might be developing feelings for her. Elated, she accidentally punches the restroom mirror in her excitement. Soon, Ling and the gym members watch a boxing match between Hao Cohen and another trainer, Tian Fu. Although many women admire Tian Fu's physique, Ling's attention is fixed solely on Hao Cohen. Despite her support, Hao Cohen loses the match, and Tian Fu is chosen to represent the gym in the provincial competition. Afterward, during a dinner, Ling can see how disappointed Hao Cohen is by his loss. Struggling with his emotions, he begins drinking heavily. When he becomes too intoxicated to go home, Ling helps him back to her place, and in a moment of weakness, they share an intimate night together. The next morning, Ling is still in shock over what happened. She scrambles to wash her face and apply makeup, not wanting Hao Cohen to see her ugly side. Over breakfast, Hao Cohen confesses that he's considering quitting his job, feeling embarrassed about his failure in the ring. Ling, unwilling to let him give up on his dreams, takes matters into her own hands. She borrows money from her boss to offer Tian Fu 5,000 yuan to give up his spot in the provincial competition for Hao Cohen. Tian Fu, more interested in avoiding a bruised face than competing, agrees without hesitation. Unaware of Ling's sacrifice, Hao Cohen is thrilled when Tian Fu hands over his opportunity. Ling becomes even more committed to supporting him, cooking healthy meals, and staying with him during late-night training sessions. Hao Cohen makes significant progress, eventually reaching his ideal weight and thanking Ling for her unwavering support. As the competition nears, Ling discovers a shocking truth. Hao Cohen's opponent's father has bribed him to intentionally lose the match. Devastated by this revelation, Ling confronts Hao Cohen, urging him not to give up on his dream. However, he dismisses her, claiming that no matter how hard he tries, he'll never earn enough money, so he needs to take the bribe. To make matters worse, Hao Cohen coldly rejects their relationship, saying that he never saw Ling as more than an assistant. Heartbroken, Ling leaves, feeling completely betrayed. When the match begins, Hao Cohen intentionally loses in the first round, leaving Ling devastated. Back at work, Ling is harassed by her drunk boss, and in self-defense she strikes him, resulting in a police report. Dodo helps her resolve the situation, but Ling loses her job in the process. Now unemployed, Ling agrees to join the reality show, hoping it will help Dodo with her probation. However, the show focuses only on mocking her personality, her shyness, and her lack of confidence. To make matters worse, the producers air a maliciously edited interview, making Ling appear as an ungrateful daughter. The public criticizes her harshly, and overwhelmed by the humiliation, Ling pretends to faint on stage. This painful experience is a turning point for Ling. Instead of pitying herself, she decides to take control of her life. She begins exercising for herself, not for anyone else's approval. Under the guidance of Coach Leon, Ling commits to a strict training regimen. Over a year, she loses 50 kilograms, and with newfound confidence, she earns her boxing license. Leon, impressed by her transformation, offers Ling a chance to substitute in an upcoming match. Meanwhile, Ling's father expresses pride in her progress, encouraging her to return home and help with the family business. While working at the family store, Ling runs into Hao Cohen, now working as a construction laborer. Embarrassed, he tries to leave, but Ling catches up with him easily, her improved fitness making her stronger than before. She invites him to her upcoming boxing match, and for the first time, Hao Cohen sees her differently. She's no longer the same woman he once dismissed. The day of the match arrives. Ling is set to fight Hong, a top contender with an undefeated record. The fight is brutal, and despite Ling's efforts, she is overwhelmed. She takes hard hits and struggles to stay on her feet. By the second round, she's battered and barely able to continue, but her resolve remains unbroken. She refuses to surrender, determined to finish the fight. In the third round, Ling lands a solid punch on Hong, but Hong counters and knocks her down again. Lying almost unconscious on the mat, Ling's thoughts drift back to her past, to the moments when she had always been overly compliant. She recalls how she gave up her inheritance to Lu Dan after their argument, how she agreed to be Lily's bridesmaid even when she knew it wasn't what she wanted, and how she pretended to have experience for Hao Cohen's comfort. Ling also remembers the humiliation she endured on Du's reality show, where she was manipulated into complying with the team's demands. The memories of her failed suicide attempt after returning home from the show resurface, a stark reminder of how low she had sunk. But as she lies there, battered and on the verge of giving up, something shifts inside her. Ling gathers every ounce of strength she has left, determined to rise. This is her chance to prove to herself that she can succeed, even if it's just once in her life. With the referee counting down, Ling pushes through the pain and stands just before the final count. As the bell rings for the last round, Ling is still standing. Though she ultimately loses the match by decision, a sense of victory floods over her. She has conquered her self-doubt and limitations, and in doing so, has accomplished something she can be proud of. Her bravery and persistence earn her the admiration of the crowd, as well as her family. After the match, her coach Leon praises her for her performance, calling it the most impressive fight he's ever seen. As Ling leaves the arena, Hao Cohen approaches, asking her to join him for dinner and suggesting they give their relationship another chance. Ling politely declines, telling him that she'll think about it when the time is right. On her way home, Ling, filled with a newfound sense of empowerment, posts on social media for the first time, proudly announcing that she has finally won in her life. In the film's closing moments, it is revealed that the actress portraying Ling, Jia Ling, went through 11 months of intense training and lost 50 kilograms for the role. This remarkable transformation highlights her dedication and mirrors the character's journey in the film. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.